Well, Penny Marinou set up her own business after working at the Greek Economics Ministry for many years. She joins us from Athens. Also, Wolfram Schrettl is a professor of economics at the Free University of Berlin, who also joins us from there. Now, Professor Schrettl, if I can start with you. In whose best interest, do you think, is this second bailout package? The Greeks or Germany and the Eurozone?
In neither's interest, I would say. So what it does, it buys, again, time. It avoids a disorderly default, but what it does not get for both Greece and the rest of the Eurozone is massive growth in Greece. That cannot be achieved by this austerity program that they are envisaging.
So Greece is entering, what, its fifth year of recession. Is the Greek economy still going to contract further despite this bailout? This isn't going to actually kickstart any growth, is it?
Certainly not. What it may do is stop the decline, but that is not enough for what we need right now. So the only medication that would really achieve the goal is that Greece steps outside the Eurozone for a transitory period, recovers quickly following a devaluation, and then re-enters undramatically. Just as Estonia entered undramatically, so Greece should exit undramatically.
Penny Marinou, I mean, you've lived in Greece, obviously you know the Greek people extremely well. How much more can they take of these austerity measures? Just describe what's happening to sort of ordinary middle-class Greeks and the pain they're going through.
Well, for middle-class and low-income Greeks, it's really very difficult because they've come to the point where their income is just about enough to cover, living costs. Of course, I suppose that these austerity measures were necessary, but they haven't been accompanied by some development measures, and that's the problem. Because even if the government tries to get income from taxation, there's no income left to tax. So we're going round in a vicious circle, I would say.
I was covering the confidence vote last year and all the demonstrations and the mass public general strikes. Then a lot of people said they wanted to stay in the euro. Has that changed at all?
I don't think so. I really believe that the majority of Greeks want to stay in the eurozone and in Europe.
And Professor Schrettl, does that surprise you? Because from what you're saying, it looks as if a default is inevitable at some stage.
No, it doesn't surprise me at all. I mean, in all countries where there was a devaluation of the currency, the avoidance of the devaluation was made a matter of national dignity and national pride. This was so in the Asian crisis. This was so in the Russia crisis. Then President Yeltsin said, as long as I'm president, there won't be a devaluation. But this is a totally mistaken understanding of dignity and pride. It doesn't help the country. It rather harms the country to avoid a devaluation.
We've got the private write-down, haven't we, for private investors as well, Professor Schrettl. How much of a schism is there between Angela Merkel and her finance minister about the best way forward? Because there's this row, isn't there, at the moment, about the ECB not wanting to write down its Greek holdings at 70%, which all the others are having to do.
I don't want to comment on the schism between Chancellor Merkel and the finance minister Schäuble. But they both were united in making what was the original. Just let me complete that. They were united in the original sin of saying, under no circumstances will Greece exit the Eurozone. That was the original mistake, and we're suffering from the consequences of this. Whether or not they are now divided is unknown to me.
I see. OK, thank you. And just a final thought from Penny Marinou. What do you think the ultimate long-term impact of this is going to be? Do you think there will be a change, perhaps, in Greek public opinion, and they'll say, yes, we will take these cuts, we will take these austerity measures, rather like the Irish have done, but of course they haven't got the same sort of export-led economy like the Irish, or do you think there will be mass demonstrations and none of this will ever get through?
I think there will be mass demonstrations, but things are getting through at a slow pace, I would say. And many Greeks believe that the only way to change things in this country, where there's so many things wrong, is to apply a really strict program and change the way the government functions. because you can't imagine what problems we have in this country. Everything is wrong. All the public services don't work properly. Nothing works properly. It's, you know, a mess, I would say.
Okay, well, Penny Marinou in Athens and Professor Wolfram Schrettl at the University of Berlin, thank you both very much indeed for joining us on the programme.